My first memories are of Sunday mornings. My house was filled with the smells of bacon and eggs and fresh coffee. And my parents would be reading the newspaper. I'd come down the steps, get my egg crate ready, and start performing my gymnastics moves as they encouragingly watched me. And I can feel the house right now, just even as I speak about it. It was filled with a lot of love and warmth. And then little by little, things began to shift and change. My dad began to change. The best way I can describe it is he was starting to feel dirty to me. I would soon learn that he had a disease and he was an addict. Naturally, my mom shifted and changed too. The idea of a loving family with lots of kids, she wanted 5, I believe, starting to change and shift before our very eyes. And so the house that was once filled with love started to be filled with disappointment and anger and sadness. And so my dad would start to leave the house more and more, and his absence became more and more frequent. And my mom asked him to leave because of it. And I can remember a time he would come by and ask me to take money out of my piggy bank. I was about 5 years old, and I had to tell my dad no, and beginning to make some hard decisions at a young age, having to be more adult than I was really ready or capable of being. But there was times I really felt my dad's love. He would play a game with me. He would hold me in his arms really tight, and he would say, "I'm never going to let you go. I'm never going to let you go." And I knew he loved me. I could feel his love in those moments, in that time. I loved that game. But his addiction got worse. And so his absence even more frequent. And so my mom talked to my sister and I had to make the decision to let him go and not see him for a little while. And so the void of the relationship and all the decisions I had to make at a young age, I looked for things that I could control. And so I turned to fitness and nutrition. And I became a really hardworking, goal-oriented, striving to be perfect child. And that nutrition piece and new fitness was my outlet to do that. And so I tried every diet, every holistic approach, every modality. And what I didn't realize is I was seeking a path of health and what it meant to really be healthy, since I've seen so much unhealthy behaviors around me. And my weight would go up and down, and I would go from deprivation to gorging, back to deprivation. And so I was left really confused. I was a personal trainer at the time. I was gaining weight. I gained about 40 pounds at one point, and I was embarrassed. Everything I thought I knew about health and how to work out and how to eat, and that I was the problem, that I was the reason why I was yo-yoing and putting myself through deprivation. I thought I was the problem. Never did it occur to me that perhaps the tools I was using was the problem. And then around the same time, I was about 28, the same time I was going through all this physical challenges, my sister started talking to my dad, and she said he was different and that he was sober. And I doubted it. This wasn't the first time he had said that, but my sister kept saying, no, it really is different. And it was. And so for a year, we started to get to know each other again, and we'd have what I feel as though surfacey relationships, and we'd hang out and do different things. But my guard was up. My wall was still up. And one day I was in my apartment in New York, and he called me to tell me my uncle, who was 15 years sober, had relapsed. And that's when I really lost it. I had said everything to him that I had always wanted to say, I was hiding, that was keeping that wall between him and I, and pretty much laid everything I felt out on the table, which was if he couldn't stay sober, if he was going to hurt me again, I couldn't do it. I couldn't go through that again. And he just listened and just kept saying, I know, and then he understood and how sorry he was. And at that point, I didn't need him to say sorry because I could see it in his face, I could see it in his eyes, and the year that we've had together, that he really was sorry and that he felt just as bad, if not worse, about the way he hurt me, my sister, and my mom. And so from that point on, my dad and I started to have the most amazing relationship. We went out to everything from Yankee games to sushi dinners. I started to feel whole and filled. My mom and him could be in the same room together. He was invited to my mother and stepfather's house, and it really gave me a feeling of fulfillment. And through that, I could start to look at my other areas of health and what it, again, start to ask that question of what does it really mean to be healthy. And so I started to feel more peaceful and thought life was going to be more calm. But of course, life has other plans. My boyfriend, mother had had cancer 3 years prior to me meeting him, and he found out that she had cancer. It had come back. And I was living with them at the time, and it was really confusing. The effects that this disease and another disease has on not just the person suffering from it, but on everyone who loves them. And then here am I, where do I fit in, right? To support the person with cancer and to support those that love them, such as my boyfriend. And I felt very isolated at the time, confused, not really sure what to do, living with that. And how deeply people get affected by their loved ones having a disease of any kind. And so as I'm working through this confusion and feeling isolated and somewhat frustrated, sometimes showing up as anger, I'm down the shore with my family, and I got a call from my dad. And he said that he needed to talk to me. We knew he was getting some tests done, and he told me he had bladder cancer. I remember I fell to my knees and I just said, no, and immediately started thinking about my boyfriend and his family and what they were walking through. And it was hurtful. And so after many weeks, months of my boyfriend's mom and my dad being in and out of the hospitals and doing chemo treatments and going through all the medical system procedures, January 19th, 2016, my boyfriend and his sister rushed their mom to the hospital. She had gotten an infection, and because of her cancer, leukemia, she had nothing to fight it off with. And the next day she passed, January 20th. About 2 weeks after that, I got a call from the hospital. We had a family meeting. They wanted to let us know my dad's cancer had spread and there was nothing left for them to do. And we were to look into hospice care and start to say our goodbyes. My dad was in a lot of pain and so wasn't very awake many days prior to that. And this particular day, he had a few more hours of consciousness. A little sense of that spiritual, vulnerable dad was there that day. He never before missed a chance to tell me how grateful he was to have me in his life, and we talked a little bit about that again that day. And I was laying in his hospital bed and holding him tight, and we got to play my favorite game. I got to tell him that I was never going to let him go, and I held him real tight, and he did the same thing for me. Told me he loved me, and I did the same. And not to know that I was never going to speak to him again after that. On February 5th, 2016, I got a call, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., from hospice care that it wasn't going to be much longer. And so I was driving over, praying that I'd get to speak with him maybe one more time, but when I got there, he had passed. My boyfriend's mom would say, your health is everything. And it wasn't until now that I really understood what she meant and became passionate about discovering what health is. I do believe everything in life happens for a reason. And so 2 weeks prior to my dad getting sick, I joined the team of Body Solutions. And part of our efforts is to donate to an organization called saferchemicals.org. And they fight to get laws passed so that we are getting chemicals put into our household food and beauty products. And I'm going to ask Steve to come on to talk a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Kian. And it's an amazing opportunity to have Kian join our team here, because we started to be very mindful of chemicals many years ago when my grandfather died of cancer, and during that time my wife was pregnant with our first child. And actually that was also the same time we were building this location here, which was built sort of LEED certified, which is chemical free. I became very aware of the effects of chemicals onto humans because I myself was scared, because I saw my grandfather die of cancer, and we were looking at, as a scientist, the stats on what was happening to babies. And I'm sure you know this, newborn babies are born with like 200 chemicals in their blood that don't belong there. The average American adult has 300 different chemicals in our bodies that don't belong there. And so it is our passion to help reduce those chemical exposures, because we know those chemicals, just like leads to diseases. And that's why this event is such an amazing opportunity for all of us to come together to make a bigger difference. I know that you are already making a difference with your products. You have chosen to be chemical free, to reduce as many chemicals in your products. And this event is literally raising all the proceeds goes towards Safer Chemicals, that then supports all of our efforts, which is to reduce the chemical exposures to everyone in this country. And so not only are we going to have the attendees come, there will be about 150 attendees, and you have the opportunity to sponsor that in multiple levels. You get to choose. And of course, you can talk to Kian about those options. Anything from just having your brand, your logo, and having the awareness on the website that we are marketing to all the community members here, about 50 to 60,000 people that are interested in reducing cancer and their moms that we have identified on Facebook. Not only are we going to market to them and they're going to attend the event, about 150 of them, but this event will be recorded. And so I believe that a lot of the information that we'll be providing and the experience that will be provided is completely going to help other people who will buy the recording, right? And so the benefits of the sponsorship goes far beyond just having a logo, or possibly having a booth and having people buy your products at the event. It's also the ability to have your products and your brand directly be exposed to everyone in the country. When we sell the recording, it goes to everyone in the country, not just South Jersey and Philadelphia area. It's to everyone in the country.
It wasn't until I came to Body Solutions that I really learned the statistics on it and how much we are affected and how many chemicals that we don't even know about are put into our products. And so I couldn't wait to start this event to meet more people who are just as passionate as we are in changing this. And so as we were talking about the event, we started to talk about partnerships and building teams and a community within the New Jersey area so that we could get the word out bigger. We can't do it by ourselves, right? We need a team of people. And so we want to meet you. We want you to partner with us so that we can support each other in getting the word out there and increase not only this awareness, but what our cause is, what our passion is, which is to get your products, our services out to the world to make a healthy environment for everyone.
Yeah, and I strongly believe that your ability to impact is based upon your network. More so than just your straight marketing and your products, it's really your ability to build that network of supporting partnerships that all share the same values. Together, we can make a much bigger impact, and that's our mission with this event. This event really is just a seed that we are planting that's going to grow into an amazing tree in the years to come. This will be repeated. It's only going to get bigger, and our ability to spread this message will only go nationwide. We have efforts in the future to essentially teach other fitness professionals to do exactly this all across the country. This is just the first one, and we're excited to be able to have you join us in the efforts to really, it's our passion to change 1 billion lives, not 1 million, but 1 billion lives to be healthier. And we're looking for amazing partnerships with companies that share our passion, just like you. So if you are looking to grow your business, if you're looking to grow it in a very, what I would think, very healthy, ethical way of just doing it that's better for the world, I invite you to join us. I invite you to partner with us because that is our mission. And so if you're interested, just contact Kian, reach out to us. I'm sure we'll have some information that'll make it easy for you to make this partnership work as a mutually beneficial relationship. So I look forward to working with you and possibly seeing you at the event or some of your team members so we can start to build this amazing network that's going to impact the world.